Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And in this lesson, we're going to deal with the electronic or digital concentration camp, which this article, I got that name from this article, or that title from this article, which is very interesting, the the actual things that they are doing here. And as a matter of fact, this first quote here is actually, it's pretty insightful, because it's very true, okay, and it's very effective in society today. And most people don't even know that this is going on. And what's even more sad is that a lot of people don't care. Okay, so what the headline says here: virtual home invasions. We are not safe from government peeping toms. The privacy and dignity of our citizens is being whittled away by sometimes imperceptible steps taken individually. Each step may be of little consequence, but when viewed as a whole, there begins to emerge a society quite unlike any we have seen. A society in which government may intrude into the secret regions of a man's life at will. And this is, closely tied or closely coupled with gradualism. And that's the effect of gradualism, which is that individual steps don't, they seem like they're of little consequence, but when you view it as a whole is when you really begin to, to see the fullness of what's going on here. Okay, and so I'm going to read a little bit here, but you're going to be pretty surprised how invasive the technology that exists right now is, and really in the sense of how they use it to collect all this information about you, things that you didn't know. I mean, these are things that you would consider harmless, or you wouldn't even expect to deal or be somehow connected to technology. But that's the concept of the Internet of Things, where everything is connected via some network. That means that everything from your chair to your water bottle to your coffee maker, all of those are digitalized so they can connect and communicate with each other. And the front cover, or the what they sell is, look how much easier and more efficient this can make your life. But they keep inside of the fine print how drastically bad this can be when it falls into the wrong hands, because with all these things I just described, these are machines and systems that are operated, but everything that is operated has an operator, and that operator or administrator holds a lot of power. If these operations that are happening are this invasive, and yet this is what's going on. So when we tell you about this, that the beast system that they're trying to implement, that you read of in Revelation 13 and 16, is not a small matter. Okay, it is not a small matter, and that MOTB is pretty much how they connect you to the Internet of Things. So now you have an Internet of Bodies, and when you really look into what Elon Musk is doing with the Neuralink, all right, where the whole brain-computer interface, that is a major step towards the Internet of Body, or really ultimately the Internet of Things, where all things are connected, including people, your house, your cities, your car, everything. And that's all in this article. Now, before reading that, I just want to get this quick precept, which came to mind: Ezekiel 28:3. Behold, now this chapter is referring to Esau, right? And it says, "Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. This is the main part. There is no secret that they can hide from thee." And after reading this, you'll understand why, that was said. Okay, so let's read it here. It says, "The spirit of the Constitution, drafted by men who chafed against the heavy-handed tyranny of an imperial ruler, would suggest that one's home is a fortress safe from almost every kind of intrusion. And what's interesting about this is this was like the same ideology that ancient Rome took when they left from being a kingdom to a republic. And then eventually they fell kind of back into it when they became an empire. But this is, they also hated the idea of kings because they didn't want a sole ruler, an imperial ruler, okay, based on, the experiences that they had when they were a kingdom. So let's read here. Unfortunately, a collective assault by the government's cabal of legislators, litigators, judges, and militarized police has all but succeeded in reducing that fortress and the Fourth Amendment alongside it to a crumbling pile of rubble. We are no longer safe in our homes, not from the menace of a government and its army of peeping Toms, who are waging war on the last stronghold of privacy left to us as a free people. And now I want to jump down a bit. There we go. Government agents, because it's not too long of an article, but I want to focus on the main points in this article. Government agents with or without a warrant or without probable cause that criminal activity is afoot, and with or without the consent of the homeowner, are now justified in mounting virtual home invasions using surveillance technology. And wait till you hear about the kind of surveillance technology they have. And always remember this: whatever technology they announce that they have something more sophisticated that they haven't announced. Okay? Because if they announce this kind of technology, obviously it's not just, say you find out the American government has X, Y, and Z. Well, that's public knowledge now. So that means their competitors, right, these other governments, they can know about it. And the US government would be aware of that. So there are certain things that they don't release as public knowledge. Anyway, even what is released as public knowledge it's pretty crazy. So with or without the blessing of the courts, to invade one's home with wiretaps, thermal imaging, surveillance cameras, aerial drones, and other monitoring devices. And you'll soon understand why there is no secret they can hide from thee. Just recently, in fact, the Michigan Supreme Court gave the government the green light to use warrantless aerial drone surveillance to snoop on citizens at home and spy on their private property. So you can pretty much throw this word private out. There is no such thing here in this case. All right, privacy, that's all out the window somewhere. While the courts have given police significant leeway at times when it comes to physical intrusions into the privacy of one's home, the toehold entry, the battering ram, the SWAT raid, the knock and talk conversation, etc., the menace of such virtual intrusions on the Fourth Amendment rights have barely begun to be litigated, legislated, and debated. Now let's see. Indeed, almost anything goes when it comes to all-out ways in which the government can now invade your home and lay siege to your property. Consider that on any given day, the average American going about his daily business can be monitored, surveilled, spied, and tracked in more than 20 different ways by both government and corporate eyes and ears. And every single thing that you, for the most part, that you purchase from these companies and corporations and whatnot is gathering information on you. Okay, they're constantly gathering information on you. A byproduct of this surveillance age in which we live, whether you are walking to a store, driving your car, checking email, or talking to friends and family on the phone, you can be sure that some government agency is listening in and tracking your behavior. This doesn't even begin to touch on the corporate trackers that monitor your purchases, web browsing, Facebook posts, and other activities taking place in the cybersphere, which, right, this is something that we know that they already do. Stingray devices, check this out. Stingray devices mounted on police cars to warrantlessly track cell phones. Doppel devices that can detect human breathing and movement within a home. So they don't need to be inside your house, but they can tell. You can have all your lights off, but you can't hold your breath forever. So they got devices that can tell if you are in the house or not, because they can detect human breathing and any movement that's going on. License plate readers that can record up to 180 license plates per minute. So you wonder how police officers, because now what they do is they drive by, and as they're driving, their cars are equipped to read license plates and run it through a system to see is it up to date? Does this person have any tickets, any warrants, anything like that? So somehow this cop drives past, on the street, and then all of a sudden they just pull up in reverse, park, and give this car a ticket. How did they know that this car's registration was expired or something like that? Now you know. Sidewalk and public space cameras coupled with facial recognition and behavior sensing technology that lay the groundwork for police. And this is why this system, as they're moving forward with it, is known as like a beast, because it's like inescapable. Okay, and this is they haven't even launched this full scale yet. Pre-crime programs, police body cameras that turn police officers into roving surveillance cameras, the Internet of Things. All of these technologies and more add up to a society where there's little room for indiscretions, imperfections, or acts of independence. Especially not when the government can listen in on your phone calls, read your emails, monitor your driving habits, track your movements, scrutinize your purchases, and peer through the walls of your home. You bought X amount of pounds of meat last week. What you doing buying that this week? Now your card is declined. Like, they have the ability to do this once they have insight into this. Without our realizing it, the American police state passed the baton off to a fully fledged surveillance state that gives the illusion of freedom while functioning all the while like an electronic prison, controlled, watchful, inflexible, punitive, deadly, and inescapable. So ultimately what it comes down to, you got people that say, you're going to go off grid. There ain't no such thing as go off grid. unless you off the planet, at least with what they're going with this, you ain't off grid. They can find you. That's why they're trying to connect the world. Okay? So there's no such thing as escaping just because you left America. If everywhere is using one system, they'll find you. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. This is the mantra of the architects of the surveillance state and their corporate collaborators. Let's move on a little bit more. There's some more here that I want to read. Okay, every move you make is being monitored, and you know what this sounds like? George Orwell's 1984. Mined for data, crunched and tabulated in order to amass a profile of who you are, what makes you tick, and how best to control you when and if it becomes necessary to bring you in line. Because now they're able to recognize patterns about your behavior and about your life and draw certain conclusions about that and know things about you that you probably don't even know. Because you just do these things almost subconsciously, but the way in which you do it, the habits that you have, that's enough information for them to be able to draw conclusions and be able to manipulate you. They categorize you and they can manipulate you by studying you, because their surveillance can allow them to gather enough data to study you more than you even know yourself. Cue the dawning of the age of the Internet of Things, in which internet-connected things monitor your home, your health, and your habits in order to keep your pantry stocked. Slack it. Keep your pantry stocked, your health and your habits in order to keep your utilities regulated and your life under control and relatively worry-free. Now, when we get to these utilities, where are we at? Let me come down. Yep, smartphones, kitchen appliances, all these things are now connected to the Internet of Things. Toothbrushes, light bulbs, cars, smart meters, all of that. Okay, so here we go. It says these internet connected techno gadgets include smart light bulbs that discourage burglars by making your house look occupied, smart thermostats that regulate the temperature of your home based on your activities, and smart doorbells that let you see who is at the front of your door without leaving the comfort of your couch. Nest, Google's suite of smart home products, has been the forefront of the connected industry with such technologically savvy conveniences as a smart lock that tells your thermostat who is home, what temperatures they like, and when your home is unoccupied. A home phone service system that interacts with your connected devices to learn when you come and go and alert you if your kids don't come home. And a sleep system that will monitor when you fall asleep, when you wake up, and keep the house noises and temperature in a sleep conducive state. Now it sounds cool, right? Oh wow, damn, it can do all that. Oh shit! But what level of permissions, what level of invasion does it need to acquire in order to be able to do all these things? Okay, it's able to adjust sounds in your house and all of these things based on monitoring you and gathering information about when you wake up and when you sleep. Now it has information about when you wake up and when you sleep. When you come home, where do you usually go? When do your kids come home? Where do they usually go? That is all information that it has stored in order for it to perform these different functions, right? Well, that same information that allows these gadgets to do what they're doing, that same information can be used against you. They know everything about you. So what if you are now considered out of line? Remember, they can make a criminal out of anybody. So you are now considered out of line because you disagree with something that the government wants to push. Oh, well, did you think that knowing when you wake up, where you go, where your kids are, and all of those things were just for gadgets? No, they have all that information. Guess what? These Google and all these different companies, they don't just, they're about money. So all this information they gather from you, it can be sold. Okay? It can be sold. So it's just a matter of, oh, you know what? This guy's on one of our watch lists. Give us all the information you have on him. And then next thing you know, the FBI is at your door at a particular time. Or maybe not even at your house. They can just meet you wherever it is that you are, because they know that. The aim of these internet-connected devices, as Nest proclaims, is to make your house a more thoughtful and conscious home. So now your house is mimicking a living thing. It's thoughtful. Your house is thinking. That's why it's called a smart home. For example, this also reminds me of this. There was this movie I watched as a kid. I don't remember the name, but it was an animated cartoonish movie where you had like these three kids, and across the street from one of their houses was a house that apparently was alive. And the three kids ended up going there. One of them was like chubby. He had like a red short cape. The other one had like a striped white and red sweaterish, and I think the other one was like a chick. And they go into the house, and the house is like, you walk into the door, and the house is pretty much alive. It's like the walls are moving, the stairs are shifting, like all these things. So that's kind of what it reminds me of here, having a smart, conscious, and thoughtful home. For example, your car can signal ahead that you are on your way home. Can you believe? So here it is, you in the car, right? You're driving home. You get within a certain distance radius of your house, and your car now sends a signal to your house to let you know, hey, such and such will be home at this time. Then your house tells the thermostat or thermometer or whatever it is, or even just the heating in your house, to say, hey, start warming up the house. It's a little cold right now. And we know that this person likes their temperature around this area, so it'll take this amount of time to get it there, so start heating it up now. As a matter of fact, just turn on the stove. and whatever. Just start doing all these things. So the second you walk in, you don't even need a key. You walk, the doorbell is gonna see your face. Facial recognition is gonna know it's you, and the door is gonna unlock, and you just walk in. That's the vision right there. I wonder how that can work in reverse. Maybe you are on a watch list. Maybe somebody's after you, and the second you drive your car and you leave a certain radius, that information is sent over to the government to say, oh, he's on the move. Or maybe the second you find out you're at home, you get up and you try to leave and the door's locked. Wait, what's going on here? It's a smart home. And if it's a smart home, it receives instructions from somewhere. Remember, a signal. So, you know how hacking works, right? Most hackers really just impersonate whatever signal your device is expecting to receive. And then they can just, trick your device, right? It's something called like a man-in-the-middle attack. You intercept, whatever. If it's a phone that's trying to connect to some other computer, you intercept that and act like you're the computer or whatever the case is, and now you're sending this false signal both ways. Well, if your house takes signals to operate as a thoughtful whatever, but you don't think that the government says, you know what, we need this guy to be trapped where he's at, lock his windows, lock his doors, lock him in, we got him. Anyway, I mean, because civilization has been just fine with houses that we're not thinking and we're not conscious for thousands of years. But all of a sudden, with all the other world problems that are going on, smart houses are where all your money, your hard-earned tax dollars are going into, and improving technology so you can have smart houses. And yet people are starving out there in different parts of the world. And the ocean is looking terrible because, all this garbage and all these things that are going up in there. The planet is pretty much dying, right, because of all the things that Esau is doing. But the main problem we got to worry about here is whether your house is warm enough by the time you get home. Yeah. So it seems all nice and fun and cool until it's not. Anyway, so it says here, for example, your car can signal ahead that you're on your way home, while hue lights can flash on and off to get your attention. If Nest Protect senses something's wrong. Your coffee maker, relying on data from fitness and sleep sensors, will brew a stronger pot of coffee if you've had a restless night. Wow. Yet, but it gets even better, right? Yet, given the speed and trajectory at which these technologies are developing, it won't be long before these devices become government informants, reporting independently and on anything you might do that runs afoul of the nanny state. Moreover, it's not just our homes and personal devices that are being recorded and reimagined in this connected age. It's our workplaces, our health systems, our government, our bodies. And now you can understand why Klaus Schwab, was saying what he was saying about, in the future, the technology is going to be subdermal and yada yada. That's how they connect you and our innermost thoughts that are being plugged into a matrix over which we have no real control. It is expected that by 2030, which if you think about, Lord willing, we're not here at that time, but if you think about it, we're close to halfway through 2024. 2030 is just really 5.5 years away. We will all experience the Internet of Senses. Now, you may say, 5.5 years, that's a long time. Guess what? When was it? 2019? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, about 2019, 2018, 2019. That's about 5 years ago. Yeah, 2019. Right before the demic. Yeah, that's about 5 years ago, give or take. So, 5 years seems like a long time until you realize that we were just in 2019. Okay, anyway. So it says here, the Internet of Senses, enabled by artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, 5G, and automation. So artificial intelligence, you have AI, and computers and software that is basically able to apparently like learn, and then be able to, operate different things without human assistance. Then you have virtual reality, where when you have like a VR headset, you're pretty much like in a different world, right? You're seeing different things, you're hearing stuff, all of that. Then you have augmented reality, where it's like merging, or taking your reality and making it and augmenting it. So you have certain like what are those? The Apple Vision Pro has the ability to do that. So you're sitting in your living room, but with these goggles on, you can see other things in your living room that aren't really there because you're looking through this headset. That's augmented reality. Then you have 5G, right, which is really just going into the connection, right? Because in order for these technologies to operate and talk to each other and move seamlessly, you need to have a strong connection, high bandwidth, all of that. So information is traveling at a smooth rate. And automation, so you don't got to do anything yourself. Everything is automatic. It's preset. Why do you have to walk to the coffee maker, put the coffee inside the thing, press the button, and no, it'll do it itself. The internet of senses, and keep in mind, right, as convenient as this makes it, it also means that you're not gonna know how to do things. Imagine you being born in a generation where all these things exist. You don't brew your own coffee. You don't know how machines work. You just rely on them. And these machines are pretty much now basically taking away people's ability to just do basic things. And that creates a society that's so dependent that you're pretty much like like a vegetable if you don't have these machines, because you're so reliant on them that you don't know how to do these things by yourself, as where in the past this was something that you had to do. Where are we? The internet of senses relies on connected technology interacting with our senses of sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch by the way of the brain as the user interface. So go and look up Elon Musk and his Neuralink. As Journal Susan Fortain explains. And then they go on in here to basically explain how with this you don't need any more user interfaces anymore, right? Because a user interface is to allow you to interact with like smartphones and a computer. You have a keyboard and a mouse that allows you to interact with the computer. You don't need that anymore if you have an interface connecting your brain to whatever device it is. So you just think the command and you don't have to type it. That's where they're going with it. And the second they start to get up into that space, the IOB, the Internet of Brains, then you have the concept of the thought police. Because now they can to a degree, they can like read your mind. So you're not safe in your home, you're not safe on the streets, you're not safe at work, and you're not safe in your own head. And along with the thought police comes pre-crimes. We anticipate that this person will commit a crime. Let's arrest them before they get a chance to do it. Now here you are, you're under arrest because 10 years from now, you're going to commit this crime. How do you know that? Well, we measured some data and yada, yada, and so you're under arrest anyway. And it sounds ridiculous, right? Until it's not. Once technology is able to access and act on your thoughts, not even your innermost thoughts will be safe from the thought police. And you know what's interesting about that? That was in a commercial from, I think it was the World Economic Forum. They did a commercial like that where there was a video and they were mentioning that very soon there's going to be no such concept as human, because everybody's going to be augmented in some way, shape, or form. And also, with that being said, they want to provide a safe space for everybody. That includes inside of your head. And so they're going to need access into your headspace, your brain, your thoughts, so that they can ensure that it is a safe place. What kind of... So what do you think would happen if this devil was allowed to continue ruling? It was allowed to continue with their enterprise. What do you think would happen to the Most High's creation? Because that what they're trying to do is just shift away from that, change it, make it. What they're trying to do is make man in their image. They're trying to take the Most High's creation and augment it to their liking, so they can play the role of God. But they're able to do these things now because Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand, the control, the power of the wicked. Malachi 1:3 tells you who the wicked is, Esau, Edom. Okay? He covereth the faces of the judges thereof, if not, where and who is he? And the main part I wanted to focus on here is that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So that's why they're able to do this, because they have the power right now to do so. But the Lord is allowing them to do this because through this, they're going to fulfill a major prophecy that the Lord wants them to fulfill. But after that, they're done. Their job, their role, what the Lord needs you for is done. You've served your purpose. Time to go. All right. And that's pretty much all I'm going to read on here. I will try to link this article. I can't say the description box, but I'll try to put it in the comment section. Because YouTube, they want you to do some extra steps before you can link articles in your description. But anyway, yeah, Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. This is pretty much where they're going with it. And you can see how with all these various forms of invasive technology, this is like a digital version of a concentration camp where they can, they're monitoring you 24/7 and they're controlling everything in your life and even you. So some might argue this would be an even more effective. A digital concentration camp would be even more effective than a physical one or a traditional one. Anyway, with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachak Udash. Until next time, Shalom.